Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Mismatch. So, have you ever experienced hot flashes? Perhaps, sleep is just not hitting the same. Your mood swings feel like they're coming out of nowhere. There's brain fog, anxiety, low energy, and you're wondering, is this just me? If any of this is familiar, then this episode is for you. Today's guest is a nutritionist, media expert, 7-time published menopause researcher, and has a community with over 350,000 people following her for her real, honest conversations and research about perimenopause and menopause. It is Andrea Donsky. Now, in her new book, Nourishing Menopause, she breaks down 103 plus symptoms. Yes, 103 that no one is talking about. And she gives practical research-backed strategies to help women actually feel good in this next phase of life, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I'm sitting with her right now. Andrea, it's good to see you.
So good to see you, and it's so great to be here.
I'm so excited to have this conversation with you.
Thank you.
Tell me, congratulations on the book.
Thank you. 2 years of writing it. It is so nice to see it out, and thank you. I really appreciate that.
It's a labor of love.
It really is.
And to see it come out, and again, this is like early response, but what has the reaction been?
Oh, it's been tremendous. Everyone is so excited. It's really interesting because when I had endorsements, I asked for endorsements. I asked from doctors and journalists and experts, and so much of the same came back of it's like a guidebook. It's incredible, not only for women who are going through it, their partners and doctors and healthcare providers. So it's been the response has been amazing. I am so grateful. Really, every day I wake up and I just have this overwhelming gratitude for everyone's how they're cheerleading me, and it's so nice to see that.
The overwhelming gratitude is because you are changing lives. You're making a huge difference with this research that's you've provided to people. Why now, Andrea?
So it really had to do with my own journey. For the longest time. So I had my third baby at 41.
Wow.
And afterwards, my symptoms didn't really disappear, and many of them got worse. And when I was writing the book, I realized that I actually started perimenopause in my mid-30s.
What?
Mid-30s. And I had something called phantom smells. So that's when you smell things that other people don't because they're not actually in your environment. And I went to the doctor so many times. I had an MRI, I had tests, and I went to an ENT, and everyone was like, no, you're like, we can't find anything wrong. Mm-hmm. And then I realized now, years later, I was like, oh, it was probably a perimenopause symptom, but I didn't know it. And looking back, I was in perimenopause for a total of 14 years. 11 of them, I had no idea.
Wow.
Yeah, no idea. So I suffered with all of these symptoms. I had phantom smells, rage. Let's not even talk about the mood swings, sleep issues, pain in my body. I had gained 20 pounds in perimenopause. And I would ask other women my colleagues and friends who were around my age, I'm like, Are you experiencing any of this? And they were always like, nope, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I felt so alone because nobody was really talking about perimenopause and menopause, right? This is I'm trying to think back, the dates, up until my first hot flash I had in 2017. So this was from 2011 to 2017.
Wow.
It isn't what it is now. And social media isn't sending it in our algorithm, right, to us if we're 35 and up. So I really felt like I was alone on an island and had no idea what was happening to my body. And I was in health and wellness. That's my
what
job.
I was going to say is you are literally in this space. So if you didn't know it, then we're all left feeling hopeless.
And that's and if we think about it, right? It was my job to help people, women, understand their bodies.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. My mother never spoke to me about it. I never learned about it in school. My doctor never brought it up to me. So that's why I am so passionate when you say, why now? I'm so passionate because I've been studying it for almost 10 years. I feel like between my research, you were saying 7-time published researcher, I feel like I have this message that I've had for 26 years of being in health and wellness, plus my 10 years of studying menopause and perimenopause. I'm like, the time is now because I have all this information in my head and I don't want women, my daughters, all of your listeners, I don't want women who are now coming into it, and even other Gen Xers, right?
Yeah.
I don't want them to have to go through what I went through, not knowing anything that is happening to their body.
Feeling uncertain about how you're feeling. It's almost like you're being gaslit because it's you're healthy, you're fine. but actually like none of this is real. You're imagining all these symptoms, right?
Well, to your point is we have research on doctor's visits. And what we know is 40% of women are dismissed and gaslit. 40%. So they'll go to their doctor, and these are women even in their 40s and 50s. I'm not even talking about women in their 30s. They'll go to their doctor, they'll explain how they're feeling, and they'll be like, well, there's nothing wrong, or it's aging, just deal with it. There's nothing you can really do, or you're too young to be in perimenopause or menopause, even when women are bringing up the topic to their doctor or healthcare provider. So it's really important that we help to educate the medical system, our doctors and our healthcare providers, because they don't really learn about menopause and perimenopause in school. So I always say we're a grassroots community. Like coming on this show, right? Your community. We're a grassroots community to get the information out there. Read the book. There's so much great information and actionable tips and steps that you can do right away. You can implement it immediately, and you don't even have to spend money to do it. So it helps to educate you and let you know what is coming, what is here, what are you experiencing.
And that's empowering to have the ability to be able to take control of your health. I think now and more people are looking to do that and asking the questions and being in the know.
Well, that's it. And when we know, like quote Dr. Maya Angelou, when we know better, we can do better.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
So understanding, and the key is, like you said before, is when we don't know what's happening, we're left in this place of guessing. We're going to see doctor to doctor to try to get answers, or we're, we have this health anxiety, or perhaps it's coming out in our relationships, right? Rage is a big part of it. Mood is a big part of it. Feeling more insecure about ourselves. All of these symptoms play a role in our day-to-day. How are we performing at work? Right? Are we giving up certain opportunities because we don't feel like we can do it anymore? So all of it plays a massive role. So when we understand what's happening, we can also get the treatment options that we deserve.
Exactly. Okay, I want to talk about perimenopause first because I'm 35.
Yep.
And so like reading that and knowing that is pretty shocking that they can start now.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me, and you're 35 and you found this
because
of interest.
I want to be in the know. I'm your clientele. I'm like, I want to be in the know. I want to know about my body. And I know so many women, even like my mom and older friends that don't really understand what's going on with their bodies. And it's just, I have to deal with this. Well, like, I don't want to deal with it. I want to feel great all the time. I want to do what I can to feel like myself,
I love that. So perimenopause are the years before menopause. And they can last anywhere from a few months to 14 plus years. I've had some women say it lasts longer. Generally, we could start as early as 35. I've had some women tell me they started even earlier on our TikTok page.
Really?
So it can happen. But for the most part, we'll go through perimenopause in our 40s and 50s. And it's about a decade before we will go into menopause.
Okay.
And it's a time when our hormones start changing and fluctuating, and many symptoms can start in perimenopause. So for example, maybe you were always able to go through your day, you had a ton of energy, but now you're like, I'm really feeling tired by the end of the day. And I just don't feel like I have that energy. I'm more exhausted. I can't get out of bed. So you might notice slight things that are changing. Maybe your weight is fluctuating up and down. So for years, my weight went up and down 8 to 10 pounds. Again, didn't change anything I was eating or how I was exercising. It's a perimenopause symptom. So you might notice little things that are happening. It starts in perimenopause. And then eventually, and our estrogen, what it's doing is our estrogen is fluctuating up and down like a roller coaster, and our progesterone is gradually declining. Menopause is once you've gone 12 months or 365 days without a period.
Okay.
So that is called natural menopause. Now, if you've had surgical menopause and you have your ovaries removed, then you've gone into surgical menopause, right?
Okay.
So you go right into menopause if you've had your ovaries removed. And that's an important thing to note because preparation is involved if you're having a hysterectomy and a oophorectomy. And then menopause, the average age in North America is 51 and a half. Some women go in earlier, some women go in later. And it also, like you mentioned your mom, a lot of women will go and experience menopause the way they're like go into menopause maybe around the same time or experience symptoms similarly to how their mother did. So there's a bit of a genetic component, but it's not for everybody, right?
Okay.
It's just kind of one of the things that might play a role. And then everything after menopause, so it's technically one day. Everything after that is considered to be postmenopause.
Interesting.
So menopause and postmenopause, they're technically the same thing.
Okay.
So, and that's an important thing to say too, and to understand is because once we go into menopause, we're in menopause for the rest of our life. We never come out of it. So when I tell
That's scary when you say that. Andrea, I'm not going to lie to you when you say that. I was like, Oh shit.
But the good thing is there's so much we can do to help ourselves.
Yes.
And by the way, there's so many positives about being in menopause.
Okay, tell me all the positive things.
So number one, you don't have to worry about birth control anymore.
Yeah, that's a positive thing for
Right?
sure.
How much stress was that earlier? Right?
Constant anxiety.
Right? So we don't have to worry about that. No more period, no more PMS.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about that. The other thing I know about menopause is that for many of us, as estrogen goes down, it actually helps. It gets rid of that whole Pollyanna effect, where we're trying to please people, we're trying to like smooth things over. For many of us, we just say it like it is. We're comfortable with ourselves.
I totally recognize that in women. As you get older, there's this like sense of, maybe this is a simple word for the feeling, but there's a sense of like confidence and no fucks given that, that you move with in your life, which is pretty awesome.
You're like, I am who I am, and this is me, and and you say it. You're not. The filter is removed.
Right.
Put it that way.
Right.
I always laugh at my mom because like my mom is 79. She's gonna be 80, and when she's crossing the street, like if there's a car, let's say too close to the crossway, she'll like hit the car. And I laugh. I'm like, oh my gosh, Mom, you were. I'm like, there's no Pollyanna effect.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I laugh at her. But, and they're also more confident. Like I said, we're redefining what it means to age. Mm-hmm. That's a big one, right? Redefining, like when we look at now pictures of women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, it's like we see empowerment, we see strength, we see, confidence. So I feel like all of that, we know who we are. Many of us are starting over, starting new careers, finding ourselves, right? Rediscovering ourselves. So there's so many positives. So don't be afraid of it. And that's our big message in the book is every woman will go through menopause if she's blessed to live long enough.
Yeah, it's true. It is a blessing. That's it. Like aging is a blessing.
Such a blessing.
You want to go through it for sure.
So the key is not to suffer with symptoms as you go through it. And there's a toolbox, and we have a toolbox. Nutrition, lifestyle, supplements, and hormones if that's what you choose to do.
Okay, so we'll get there because I have questions about that as well. Let's talk about the symptoms first. 103.
103 different
That's never
symptoms.
been outlined before.
So we are the second ever to have it published in a medical journal, the number of symptoms. The first one was in the 70s, and they had like something in the 20s. Yeah, like 20-something symptoms.
Wow.
And we launched a survey in 2022 because I really wanted to understand how many symptoms there were. And we discovered that there's 103 plus symptoms. And the reason why it's important to understand that there are so many different symptoms is because 40% of us are dismissed.
Right.
So if you go to your doctor, for example, and you're just experiencing itchy ears, that's a lesser known symptom, but extremely common because as our estrogen is declining, it's drying out our body, including the mucous membranes in our ear. So you'll find it's not on the outside of the ear, but the inside. And you'll find like it's just so itchy all the time.
Wow.
Phantom smells, like I mentioned, is a less common symptom. Vertigo, tinnitus, cold flashes. Right? So you're getting really cold as opposed we hear hot flashes. We think that's the number one symptom, but actually cold flashes is also a symptom. So BO, body odor. In perimenopause, oh my gosh. My BO was so bad. And I remember it was worse in like the left armpit than it was in the right armpit. I could only wear certain clothing and I had to double up on my deodorant.
Oh, that's
in order
terrible.
not to smell.
That's like an insecurity I always have. I'm like, I just hope I don't smell. I don't want to smell.
So double up on your deodorant. It does work, by the way. It helps. It does work. Doubling up, or your antiperspirants, doubling up on it. It works. So like there's a lot of different symptoms that are out there. So the reason why, like I said, it's important that we understand it because if you go to your doctor with the lesser common symptoms, perhaps,
right,
and your doctor dismisses you, you're like, it's on the list of 103.
Yeah.
So it possibly could. And you always want to make sure you get checked out. You want to make sure that that nothing's wrong with you, get that clean bill of health. And then if they say, we don't know, and then you can bring up like, well, maybe it's a perimenopause or menopause symptom. And then you can look at treatment options.
Right. For you, what was the most shocking, like kind of symptom or stat that you recognized in doing your research?
Oh, such a good question. I would say from a stat perspective, from our signs and symptoms survey. So just to give you an idea of how big our audience or the responses was, when we had it published in 2024, there were about 2,300 responses to the survey.
Okay.
Currently, there are over 53 300 responses.
Wow.
So it is a massive sample. And I would say that the thing that was pretty much the most shocking was that on average, women are experiencing about 31 different symptoms. So it's not like they have one, right?
Yeah.
31 different symptoms. The
So
other thing,
many.
so many. The other thing I found really interesting is that when we think about menopause, the first thing that comes to mind for many of us is hot flashes.
Right.
Hot flashes aren't even the top 10 most common symptoms.
You're kidding.
It just fell off. For
What's
the
number
longest
one?
time, it was number 10. And now it just fell to 11. Number 1 is fatigue and exhaustion.
Really?
Yeah.
And see, so many people would overlook that, just being like, I'm busy, or I didn't get enough sleep last night,
Yeah,
or I
I'm
had
running
broken sleep, or I'm running
I'm
around.
running after my kids, right?
Right.
Like, so yes, number 1, fatigue. And we're talking like mental, physical exhaustion. And so that's number 1. Number 2 is brain fog. That is a huge one. Like we feel like we have cotton balls in our head. Number 3 are sleep issues. Number 4 are memory issues. And number 5 is anxiety.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And see, all of these things can be overlooked as just, it's a phase, or you're overwhelmed, or because of life.
Because of life. Yeah. So that's why I always say, there are things that, when you do go to your doctor, ask for certain blood tests, ask to get your thyroid checked, ask to get your B12, your vitamin D, your B12 and your ferritin checked, because it could be because when you go into perimenopause and menopause, and as I mentioned, our hormones are starting to shift, it could be things like maybe your thyroid is off. Maybe you need to do something there, or maybe you need to up your vitamin D because most of us are deficient in vitamin D or B12 or ferritin or whatever it is. So that could play a role in exhaustion and other symptoms as well. So that's why I'm like, there's low hanging fruit. Go get checked out and then kind of come back and see if there are other reasons.
Let's talk about sleep, because that's a big indicator and something that you talk about. And I think it's not talked enough about of how that changes as you get older.
Yeah. So sleep is the third most common symptom, as I mentioned. And one of the things I wanted to understand, because the way my brain works, I'm so data driven, and I want to understand, my mom used to say to me when I would watch any type of TV show, or I'd ask so many questions. She's like, you ask so many questions. I'm like, look, Mom, I made a business out of it.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm doing research based on the fact that I'm so inquisitive.
See, here's the thing, though. I ask the questions. You actually give the answers to the questions.
We make a good team. I love it. So I really understand, why are we not sleeping in this phase of life? So I get it, we're not, but why? So when I did my research, what we found out was that the number 1 reason we are waking up during the night is because we're waking up between 2 and 4 a.m. And at first my thought was, it's probably because cortisol is rising at the wrong time. And cortisol is supposed to rise in the early morning, but not that early. And when cortisol is rising too early, you might find that you're awake between 2 and 4 a.m. and you're like staring at the ceiling. You can't go back to bed. And then number 2, and I'll come back to that in a minute. And cortisol is tied into stress.
Okay.
But in the survey that we asked on sleep, I didn't actually ask the question as to what's keeping you awake between 2 and 4 a.m. That was my suspicion that it's cortisol, but I couldn't prove it in that one, my hypothesis. The number 2 reason is going to the bathroom. So I have women who will tell me they go to the bathroom several times a night.
Yeah.
If you're going more than once a night, that's too much. Like we definitely you want to speak to someone or do something about that. And the number 3 reason are hot flashes and night sweats. So you're waking up because of night sweats.
Okay.
Number 4 is because of stress and anxiety. So because I wanted to understand if that cortisol hypothesis was true, we launched our stress and anxiety survey. And what we found out is that more women are we're feeling more stressed now, and we're less able to cope with it. But I asked the question if they're waking up between 2 and 4 a.m., 85% said yes. And then I asked why. And 70% of the women said it's because of stress-related symptoms.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the number 1 reason we're waking up during the night is because of stress. So I always say what to do is before you go to bed, any type of stress relieving tips, tools, anything that you could do to help yourself sleep better is important. Deep breathing, meditation, journaling, maybe reading a book, getting off your technology, an hour before, maybe taking a bath with some essential oils that help to calm you. Not doing too much, like if you don't exercise too vigorously before bed, because that'll keep you awake.
Right.
And then make sure your room is dark and cool. Like there's so many great tips that we talk about. I talk about chapter 7 is all on sleep, and just things that you can implement immediately to help you get that better night's sleep.
What do you do?
So what I do is I have a mantra. Like I say my mantras. I take magnesium. I'm a very big fan of magnesium.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Honestly, it is a game changer for women in perimenopause and menopause.
Really?
Yeah, because when we're stressed, we deplete certain nutrients from our body, including magnesium. And when magnesium is depleted, we become more stressed. So it becomes this vicious cycle. And because most of us are depleted because of the stress and other reasons, also our digestive system is changing, it's shifting and changing. We're not absorbing things as well. We need to make sure we're getting enough magnesium because it's responsible for over 600 enzymatic processes in the body.
Sounds like a lot.
A lot. And it's so key for cognitive health. Research shows that women who have cognitive decline have less magnesium than those who don't. So key, and it's also key for sleep. So something like a magnesium bisglycinate before bed, and making sure you're taking enough and taking it throughout the day too, because magnesium, what it does is it also helps to regulate the nervous system. So it helps you when you're feeling super stressed, it helps to relax us. So magnesium is a big part of my nightly routine. Okay. I also make sure that I prioritize it. You know, obviously there are times when I'm super busy, but prioritizing it, meaning going to bed between 10 and 11.
Yeah.
Making sure that because we're going to get more deep sleep the earlier we go to bed. So,
okay.
Yeah. So really important. And that deep sleep is key because it helps to clean up our brain from all the things that it's exposed to during the day. So we want to get that deep sleep at night, and going to bed earlier can really help.
Okay, interesting. One of the things that stands out for me is the concept of stress and anxiety and that being high at this time in your life. Why do you think that is?
Oh, there's so much that's going on. Cortisol is rising. Our hormones are declining, and that helps with regulating the nervous system. We're not sleeping as well, right? So when we don't sleep, that increases cortisol. And cortisol is really it's the hormone that our adrenals make when we're stressed. So because we're constantly living in this sympathetic nervous system mode, that's the mode we're going, right? Like we're on the go, we're going. We're not going into that parasympathetic mode as much. So living in that chronic state of stress is also going to affect us, right? So that's why having some type of stress management program, tool, make a note on your phone, like put a reminder on your phone to breathe. Just take a few deep breaths. Anything that's going to relax you, go for a walk in nature. That's going to help to reduce cortisol, right? So there's so many things going on now that increase it or that make it harder for us to manage it. And by the way, this is interesting that I learned when I was writing the book, is that women are more prone to stress in general, and we're less able to cope with it. We feel it much more than men.
Oh, I believe that. We worry about everything.
Everything.
And it goes like this for them.
And we're doing a lot.
Well, that's the reason why,
yeah,
right? Like thinking of everything all the time.
Thinking of everything. It's like, I just want to sleep like my husband. Like he literally, his head hits the pillow and it's like snoring. And I'm like, really? Within 4 seconds, you know? And it's like that jealousy of like the sleep.
Totally. You and every other woman, I'm pretty sure, feel this exact same way. So I totally get that. One of the things that you mentioned a little bit earlier, Andrea, was nutrition.
Yes.
And the importance of that, and how weight management is a big thing for many, many women experiencing perimenopause or menopause. How do we kind of manage that or pay attention to it more?
Yeah. So chapter 5 is all about why we gain weight in perimenopause and menopause. And it's interesting because as a Gen Xer, I grew up with the whole don't eat this, don't eat as much, don't eat carbs, don't eat fat. Like it was like ingrained in our head, in our minds, right? And it was always about wanting to lose weight, and I have to fit into that dress on the weekend. And so when I chose to write about weight gain, so first of all, weight gain isn't even in the top 10 most common symptoms. It's in 13 to 15. So it's in the top 20. But when it comes to quality of life, it's in the top 3 most bothersome symptoms. So it is a very real symptom. And our body, it's shifting. So perhaps if you were gaining weight in your thighs and your hips, now it's going right to your stomach because we're more prone to more visceral fat in perimenopause and menopause. So we really and weight fluctuations. So I wanted to address it because it is one of those symptoms that we care about. We want to understand.
For sure.
So in doing my research, what I found is that there are at least 17 different reasons we are gaining weight in perimenopause and menopause.
17 reasons. That's significant.
Huge. And by the way, majority of them have nothing to do with willpower.
There you go. There you go. That's just it. And I think that's what's the most frustrating for so many women experiencing this, is that they're like, I'm eating healthy, I'm exercising, and still my body is doing this, and I can't understand why.
That's right. It doesn't work for us anymore.
Yeah.
Eat less, exercise more. By the way, one of the reasons that we can gain weight is because we're not eating enough.
Really?
When
so
we
your body's
don't,
like storing things, because
right? Your body's storing it. It's going into conservation mode because it doesn't know when it's getting its next meal. So eating enough is so critical. Getting enough protein, getting enough fiber, Drinking, hydration, that plays a role as well. Making sure you're drinking half your weight in ounces a day. It helps to move things along the digestive system, right? It's getting rid of metabolized hormones, food, undigested food, things that we no longer need in our body. So I approached the chapter 5 with so much sensitivity and compassion, and I'm so proud
Well, you said
of it.
you experienced it yourself.
I gained, so I had weight fluctuations for years and years and years, 8 to 10 pounds. And, it was so frustrating because I'm buying, different size clothing. Like I couldn't fit into my clothes. My chest, huge. I could not even fit my tank tops over my chest. Oh yeah. Like the weight gain and the weight loss. And then I eventually gained 20 pounds. And being a nutritionist and this is my work and, exercising the same that I always did and eating the same that I always did, I was like, something's not working. So what I had to do, and I talk about this in the book as well, is that I had to relearn everything I knew.
That's really tough and challenging for people to do, especially like I know you're Gen X, but like even now on social media, we're being fed all these things and there's like so much, it's like information overload now.
100%.
Where you're told a million different things that it becomes even more confusing.
It is so confusing. And I don't know if you're speaking specifically to nutrition and protein, because I it's funny. When I was writing the book and even like before it, I was like, I'm a nutritionist for over 20 years. You're confusing me. Like, I am feeling overwhelmed
that
here.
That makes me feel better.
Oh, no. It is like, I'm feeling overwhelmed. And which is why I wanted to write this book, because I'm like, we need to get the information out there and the accurate information. Information overload. Like, so I have a friend, I have a friend who's coming to our book launch, and she was like, Andrea, can you please talk about the fact that I am overwhelmed about what I need to eat? Yeah. How much protein do I need to be getting? How much fiber do I need to be getting? Because protein, and we talk in chapter 11, I talk about it. We give a formula of how much protein to eat, because that in and of itself is so overwhelming, because there isn't really a lot of enough research on women in perimenopause and menopause and how much protein we should be getting. So you see protein to like outrageous amounts to take to like, it's all over the map. So what we did is we came up with a formula, Lisa Tsakos and I, who helped me shape the nutrition chapters. And the formula is, if you're under 140 pounds, aim for 20 to 25 grams of protein per meal.
Oh, wow.
Assuming 3 meals a day.
Okay.
Minimum. That's your foundation. If you're over 140 pounds, aim for 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal, assuming 3 times a day, that you're eating 3 times a day.
Right.
Then you add on accordingly. How active are you? You're going to need more protein if you're active. How tall are you? You're going to need more protein, right? What are your personal goals? And those have to be factored in. So it's like we scour through all the research. We're like, this is where we landed. And we did we did formulas, and we were looking at the math, and we were just like, this is where we landed, and it is the most, in our opinion, the most balanced approach to how much we should be getting. Because truthfully, you could get too much protein, and if you get too much protein, it can actually convert to fat in the body. So this whole like protein overload thing, like I say, load up on protein, not overload.
Right.
Right.
Because then it's doing the opposite effect of what you're asking for. But finding that balance is what's so hard, because I think we're also programmed for quick fixes of do this for however many months and this is going to be your result. And you're holding on to the fact that this is going to be my new body at this point in time. But that's not the case, because like you said, your hormones and everything are changing. So you've got to create a lifestyle that is sustainable as you age.
100%. And you know what? You just said the word balance. So we created the Balance Blueprint. It's an acronym, Balance Blueprint. And by the way, it's my philosophy for everything that I do. Yeah. It's all about balance. Like, nobody should be telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing. It is so frustrating for me to see on social where like, you should be eating this way. You should be doing this. And it's like, no. You should be doing what's good for your body.
Totally.
Like, not what someone tells you what to do, right? Because we're all different. We all have different body sizes. We're all different. You might be taller and shorter than, like, I'm shorter than you. Like, everybody, is different. So you have to do what works for you. You're the captain of your own ship. And the Balance Blueprint allows you to customize it for your body. And that's why we gave a guideline of what you could follow. And what it stands for is, balancing blood sugar. We want to help balance blood sugar because that helps to stabilize energy, mood, weight, It also helps to reduce
Binge
cravings.
eating,
Thank you very
cravings,
much.
exactly. I know.
Exactly. So balancing blood sugar is really important, and adding more fiber and getting enough protein and getting enough good fats, by the way. Good quality fats like omega-3s, salmon, herring, sardines. Really important. If you're vegan, look at something like an algal oil or chia seeds or hemp seeds. So making sure you're getting good quality fats and staying away from things like trans fats are really important. So, and getting enough plant foods, aiming for about 30 plant foods a week. Because we tend to eat the same thing,
Yep.
like the same thing. I'm guilty, and me too.
Because it's easy, Andrea.
It is easy. It is easy. Actually, the cool thing is we provide a resource page where we did all the research to find all the protein-rich foods, plant-based foods that you can literally print out or keep on your phone and be like, when you're at the store, be like,
just bring it,
I'm going to do
refer.
that. Right?
That's so nice and easy. Takes
So
the
easy.
guesswork out of it.
Yeah, I just wanted to make everything convenient and easy so that we can actually implement the tools into what we do. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for making it easy. Now, earlier on, we were talking about hormones. I know that's really impactful on perimenopause and menopause and what exactly is happening with your hormones. And hormone replacement therapy is like the talk of the talk. It's like everybody's exploring it and chatting about it. And this is how you prolong it, or this is how you get through it. What are your thoughts on all that?
So I'm going to preface it with, first of all, I'm not a hormone expert. I've tried hormone therapy myself. I know a lot because I've interviewed so many doctors. And in the book, I actually have a talk about hormones. And I have experts like doctors who have given me, their opinions, and they've told me what they feel. And it's in the book. And what I like about it is that, again, that whole balanced approach, right? But because I'm not a hormone expert, I don't really talk about menopause hormone therapy per se.
Right.
However, I believe, to answer your question, is if that's what helps you, then that's awesome. I've heard it has helped so many women. It has changed so many women's lives. And I feel like that's a road that you can go down to talk to a menopause specialist, somebody who understands hormones so they can help you for your body, what is best for your body. And that's a decision between you and your healthcare provider together, right? And ultimately your decision.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that you cannot look at nutrition, lifestyle, and supplements. So you could do it all together, and we should, right? Because nutrition is the foundation for everything. Lifestyle, are you moving? How are you exercising? How are you managing your stress? All of that plays a role. And then also, I do believe that we need to supplement certain nutrients into our diet. You can't.
Because there's no way that you can ingest all of it with food, right?
You can, we really can't. And because our body isn't absorbing as well, we're not eating enough. A lot of us aren't eating enough food to get the nutrition that we need. We're stressed, so we're depleting nutrients from our body. But also, we know the soil doesn't have the minerals that it had many years ago. So supplementing certain ingredients, I'm a big fan of. But you can't out-supplement poor nutrition. So nutrition always has to be your starting point, your foundation. And then we add everything else on top of that.
When you're adding things, like what is something you should be asking a healthcare provider or testing for to make sure that you're adding those supplements on to your diet?
So I have 5 non-negotiables, in my opinion. So through the research that I'm doing, that I have looked at the research, and obviously I do a lot of N of 1 research, which is research on myself, or me search. I heard that term recently.
I like that. That's good.
How great is that term, right? Me search. I thought that was hilarious. It made me laugh. So my 5 non-negotiables are magnesium, as we talked about. I love magnesium bisglycinate because it helps with sleep as well. But there are other forms as well, like threonate that helps with anxiety, but bisglycinate will help with anxiety and stress as well. But threonate crosses the blood-brain barrier, so it's great as well. I really, really recommend omega-3s. Omega-3s are important. Those are our salmon, our herring, our algal oil. What they do, omega-3s, is they help to reduce inflammation in the body, which we're more prone to now. But it also is important for hair, skin, nails, hydration. So it helps to hydrate you from the inside out. And we talked about itchy ears before. Yeah. The best kept secret. It is amazing, omega-3s for itchy ears, dry eyes, watery eyes, omega-3s. And you want to make sure you're taking enough of it. And this is why I say these are non-negotiables, because we need therapeutic doses of them. You still want to get them from your food. Right. But when you need therapeutic doses, these are when we go to the supplements, because we need higher doses. Right. Fiber. really important. We need to be going to the bathroom every single day. And I know I could say it. We need to be pooping every single day.
You can say it. You can say it.
I'm a nutritionist. I'm going to say we need to be pooping every single day.
I mean, I'll say, when I don't go every day, I feel horrible. So I can't imagine, because I know there are women that can't go for like days at a time. It's like something's not working in there properly, and it's a terrible feeling.
Terrible feeling. And I actually give a lot of tips on, if you're constipated, how to go to the bathroom. Yeah, in the book, because it's very important, like you said. So fiber, most of us, statistics show that most of us aren't even getting half the amount of fiber that we need.
That would impact that then significantly.
Yeah, and we need 25 to 30 grams a day. So taking a fiber supplement is great because it can get you to the other half.
Right.
And a good soluble fiber. I'm a big fan of soluble fiber. That's awesome. And then I also, non-negotiable is vitamin D with K2 MK7. The majority of us are deficient in vitamin D. And vitamin D it's a hormone, but we call it a vitamin. It's crucial for immunity, bone, energy, and mood.
Okay.
So right there, so remember we talked about earlier about going to your doctor, getting your blood work done. Please check your vitamin D levels. It could be a game changer for you.
Interesting.
Yeah, with so many of those symptoms that we just talked about.
You said vitamin D, K.
With vitamin K2, and the form is MK7.
Okay.
So MK7, what it does is it helps to get the calcium into the bones. Now, vitamin D on its own, actually I talk about this in the book because I found this I found super fascinating. Vitamin D on its own will help bone health.
Okay.
But research for menopausal women shows that taking it with K2 MK7 can help the calcium get into the bones as well and out of the soft tissues.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I love the combination.
Well, this is why I asked that follow-up question, because I'm like, I know vitamin D, but this side bit is new. That's new information. So that's really helpful.
So yeah, and vitamin K has so many incredible benefits. Like that, so it's great. It's anti-aging. Like it helps with so many things. So it's a great vitamin to take on its own regardless. And the one thing I do want to mention is if you're taking your vitamin D with your K2, MK7, you're taking your omega-3s, take it with food because it'll help to absorb it better.
Okay. There we go.
Little tip.
Thanks, Andrea. You're just like a wealth of knowledge, and this book is nothing short of that, honestly. So I really hope a lot of women and men, like you said, educate themselves, because you have power in being in the know.
Yeah.
For you, what is like your biggest, what you want someone to take away from this book?
So when we decided to call it Nourishing Menopause, I went around and I asked women what they thought about the name because I wanted to do some research. And what came back over and over again is the women said, I love the name because I feel like you're giving me a hug.
Aww.
Right?
That's
and like,
so nice. Well, because nourishing is so warm and fuzzy and positive, you know?
So positive. And like, I'm like getting like over, I'm tearing up even saying it because the feedback has been so incredible, like about that. So what I want women to know is that they're not alone. I validate them. I hear them. I understand them because I am right there with them. I was on this journey. I've been on this journey since since 2011, I know, but I've been on this journey a really long time, and I've been in menopause for 6 years. So I get what you're going through. I get your frustrations, the amount of DMs and messages and everything that I hear from the women in our community and reading our survey responses. We deserve to get the treatment and the help that we need. We need to be listened to, and we definitely do not want to be dismissed or gaslit. So I just want them to know that I understand them, and I see them, and I validate them.
Well, thank you for all that and more. Where can people find your book and find you on social? All the things.
You could find my book anywhere you shop for books. Indigo, you can get it in bookstores, on Amazon. And then you could find me, I live on TikTok. My TikTok community.
Yes, you have lots of people on TikTok.
I love our TikTok community. I live on TikTok at Andrea Donsky. And I'm also on Instagram. I'm trying to get better on Instagram. I really am. So I am on Instagram at Andrea Donsky and at We Are Morphus, which is my company. So Morphus stands for metamorphosis, morph, us as a community. So we made up the word. MORPHUS. We Are Morphus. So I'm on Instagram. We're on everywhere, all social, at Andrea Donsky and at We Are Morphus.
Amazing. Thank you so much for for sitting with me, for chatting, and for all this information. Congratulations on your book.
Thank you. And thank you again for having me and for wanting to talk about this important topic.
It's important stuff.